So this next segment is sort of like a revision to a segment that I had that wasn't clipped up that I did about 2 weeks ago when I talked about what the difference between an influencer and a reporter is. And I discussed this with Nico, and this kind of made me revise a little bit more on what my original analysis on this was. So the two aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. A reporter can be an influencer, and an influencer can also be a reporter sometimes. Uh, like for example, Jimmy Dore, he reports the news sometimes, but he's also like an influencer. But let's define those two real quick. So an influencer has the power to change the culture. Like they do this with like on the platform that they're on, right? On Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, wherever the case may be. And a reporter, they have the power to report the culture, right? They tell us what is going on. And some people do wait for their favorite influencers to say something about a topic and then make up their minds based on what they say. And a reporter reports on information that people can take, and then people can take of it what they will, and then they can go deeper into that information to confirm or refute it. In both cases, it's important for us to do our own research and not just follow personalities. We should be committed to the truth, and that requires us doing our own research. So it's important for us to not be idolizing personalities. Like I said, this is I think this is seen more with the influencers. Joe Rogan is an influencer, right? Some people do like he's not necessarily reporting things. He's more so like taking in information and then giving his opinion on it, and then some people are influenced by his opinion. But like I said, if we are committed to the truth, we won't just stop there. Like it gives us a perspective. Like that's how influencers should be looked at, right? It's just a perspective that we look at, and then we can be like, okay, like I understand that perspective. Now here's where my perspective may be similar, may be different. And this is based on the information that I have now, that I have gathered up to this point. And I will continue to dig deeper into this topic. I will continue to look at more information. And that information that you're gathering is provided by reporters. Originally, I did say that the difference between an influencer and a reporter is integrity, but that's not necessarily a case. There can be influencers that have integrity, and then vice versa, right? There's influencers that don't have integrity, and then there's reporters that can have integrity, and there's reporters that don't have integrity. So it's not. We see the case in both, in reporters and in influencers. Like we see it all the time in people who are supposed to report the news in mainstream media, and a lot of them now, unfortunately, in independent media. Some of them, are grifting and don't have really much integrity, and you can see that if you watch videos like the Yellow Brick Road, where he analyzes authenticity in some of these people like Steven Crowder, and even in some people that you guys may like, right? Like Joe Rogan, like he may have some slip ups sometimes. So it's important for us to keep our eyes open when we look at information that's being provided to us on these platforms that we enjoy listening and watching. In the chat. Oh, I will say, pay attention to some people who may change their position the based on the current wave that's happening. Some of these people are not authentic about their positions. They may be only taking a position because they see in the sphere that they're in, the popular position is something, and then they may take on that position even though that's not actually how they really feel. They're only doing it for clout. Some people have even admitted it, that they only do things for clout, that that's the only way that they operate. Like, for example, now, before it wasn't a popular position to be against, mandates, uh, to be open about these the scientific evidence shown about masks and about vaccines that go against the mainstream narrative. For a long time, a lot of independent content creators were going along with the mainstream narrative, but now more are seeing through it, thankfully. But let's see who is going to change their position inauthentically based on how they see some of these popular people in this sphere that we're in, this anti-imperialist independent media left sphere that we're in. Now that Jimmy's speaking out about this, now that Max Blumenthal is speaking out about this, now that they are talking more about the Great Reset and the Fourth Industrial Revolution, whereas before some of these people were dismissing it like it's not important at all, or we're calling this like a conspiracy smoothie. Let's see if their position changes inauthentically just to grift off of the popular wave. Like they just stick their finger out. Where's the wind blowing? That's the direction that I'm going to go. We especially see that with politicians. Prime example from the primaries. Elizabeth Warren. She put her finger out, she looked at which way the wind was blowing, and then she'd go in the direction in which where all the energy was at, which was Bernie Sanders, but she wanted to still maintain a little bit of her moderateness, so she didn't go too far. But she would try to use that language that Bernie Sanders would use about Medicare for all and all that. But if you actually paid attention and looked at what her actual platform is, and certain key words that she would use, like access, not single payer, but she would say access to healthcare. I mean, we have access to mansions, but do we have the money for it? Does everybody get a mansion? No, but we have access to it. We just can't obtain it. Same thing when these politicians say access to healthcare or access to all these other things that we need. So yeah, with that being said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section here.